Hello everyone, welcome back to Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. In the previous part, we got a fast travel tool via a dragon, but we're not using it yet. First, let's explore the new town, Spoooooky Village, which as you can tell by the music, not the happiest of places due to all of the children being abducted by the Peach Mountain Shoguns. Yes, I've played this game over a dozen times, yet some things still escape my mind. So this is a bit of a rural town, a lot of rice farms. And as I look over to my left, my voice keeps waking up one of my cats. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Sorry, Cloud. For some reason, my voice just keeps waking him up. He's trying to sleep. So what a time for me to record, huh? Depends on the dragon, really. So yeah, now we're going to head out to adventure! Just gotta climb these steps. By the way, I did a whole video about Mystical Ninja Towns, so if you haven't checked that out yet, be sure to do so. Also, I hope you all have been enjoying this commentary so far. Not sure if I'm going to do a second one this year. That all depends on the success of this one, really. And here's another rather decent song. Once again, I feel like this soundtrack is overall like an A. Like if I were to give it a school letter grade. And I'll give the sequel, Goemon's Great Adventure, a B+. Like, it doesn't have as many bangers, but the ones that it has, oh, they're good. They are good. One day we'll get around to that. One day. Shout out to Pepsi Wild Cherry. It is a delicious drink. Anyways, this bridge can be annoying. Not the biggest fan. Because you see those lightly colored panels? Yeah, that's why. Also, this is one of those areas that I believe, is in sunset mode, thanks to the skybox and the lighting. Just amazing how just those two little things can make such a huge difference. By the way, I played a recent game that has really nice skybox designs, and it is modern. Yooka-Replay-Ly. So of course, with it being a collectathon made by the same people who made Banjo-Kazooie and whatnot, obviously a game like that would have amazing skyboxes. Maybe I'll do that game sometime in the future for a commentary review. We shall see. Oh, that enemy can be annoying. And yes, I am very OCD about keeping the money amount either 5 or 0 because every Rio you pick up has a denomination of 5. So in my head, I always have to keep it 5 or 0. That's just how my brain works. Anyways, up here is the Dogo Hot Springs, but we cannot enter it quite yet. No. So what are we to do? You're about to find out, and it is, it's an interesting solution, to say the least. Not something I think most first-time players will be able to predict, but one I think some of you may be entertained by. But first, we must go to this tea house and gain some information! Or a coffee shop. Yes, that's what this place is. It's a coffee shop. I believe people in Japan were drinking coffee around this time. Possibly? I don't know. Historians, history buffs, and everyone of the like, please let me know, was coffee around in Japan during the Edo period? I honestly would not know. So yeah, they mentioned a dwarf. And they're not using the derogatory version of that, I don't think. I hope? Ugh. Yeah, they're talking literal. So we're going to have to go back to Zazen Town. And this is the world map of Japan. By the way, this is, I believe, the only time I show off this sort of fast travel mechanic because, you know, showing this off multiple times can be quite tiresome and annoying and tedious. So this is what it looks like when you want to travel from town to town, and sometimes this is required. Like right now, you have to use this. There's no other way to get off this island other than to use the dragon. We use the dragon to get on the island for that boss fight we had in the previous part, and we have to use the dragon to get off. So it is interesting that the area is completely secluded in that island. I forget what the name of that island is. I should. Anyways, Ushiwaka, he is missing. We must find him. Oh, it turns out he's right where he always is. So he's not missing. These people are just blind. So yes, we're about to gain our first ability in this game. Each of the 4 party members will be gaining an ability via a minigame. And Ibisumaru will be the first. It is interesting that they chose to go with him. You think they would have gone with Goemon, but no, his won't be until quite a bit later. And now we get a bit of a instruction on what this minigame entails. Just eat 8 sweets without getting caught. That's it. Super simple, to the point. This way we get some cool music to listen to in the meantime. Go! Once again, pretty cool music. By the words I can use them, I do believe that the being that is peeking through the cupboard is called an Oyakata. I looked it up earlier, like last year, for my review. I forget what an Oyakata is specifically, but that is what they're called, I believe. Sometimes it's just not worth it. You gotta think smart. SMRT. Ooh, got a little lucky there. Also, as you can see, we have 3 hit points. That means if we hit 3 times at all, then bing bang boom, we lose. See, if we get caught, batteries fall from, or some explosive type things that to me look like batteries, fall from the ceiling. But doesn't matter, we won anyways. Ibisumaru obtains the Mini Ibisu magic powers! Time to travel back. As you can see right here. Yep, I edited right past that. Smooth. So you're about to see, right here, you have to be perfectly still anytime you want to use your abilities. This goes for all 4 party members. And it's strange how the game just wants you to be 100% perfectly still. Not sure why that is. Anyways, we have a new enemy right here, a flamethrower type. This guy's got angry eyes. See, look at him, he's an angry bird. And as much as I enjoy this music, what we're going to hear in this next castle, it's pretty damn good as well. It's much better. By the way, I think you can make a drinking game over every time I gush over this soundtrack. Oh man. Don't though, don't do it. You'll be drunk by the end of part 2. Oh my goodness. So as you can see, they sometimes do reuse enemies, but I don't think that's particularly a bad thing. Especially if they're in areas, which I guess kind of makes sense. I mean, from a pure gameplay standpoint, it does. Creates a nice little obstacle. Although, I guess maybe those heads that pop out of the ground may have been better? Because they serve the same purpose and might fit the theme of the area better. Anyways, welcome to Ghost Toy Castle! Oh, I missed. Right here we have a bit of a crane game, but unfortunately it is inoperational or unoperational. We cannot operate it. That is the point of what I'm trying to say. So we're going to have to circle back to it later on. Oh, these gosh damn spikes. So, who wants some head? If you climb up those steps over to the right, you can get a fortune doll. But we'll be skipping it for the sake of time and the fact that I just don't need it. And over to the right, you can just skip all these obstacles. I feel like this is kind of a programming error because we will be visiting this room again once we circle back around. So my thought process is that was supposed to only spawn in during the second trip through, but for whatever reason it spawns during the first one as well. And I don't think the programmers saw it as a priority to fix that, which I appreciate. Now, we could grab that key and just make our merry way out of this room, but we're gonna make some money first. A little bit of money, not lots, but you know, a decent amount. Is it worth the time put into it? I'm gonna say yes. I will say yes. By the way, this melody would end up being reused for the next castle, and in much better fashion in my opinion. To the point where it became me and my best friend's favorite song from the game, at least instrumental song. As you can see, we're making a decent amount of money. Also, if you need health, there you go, you can get that as well. And yes, everything in this room respawns, so if you need health or money, you can just come back in and get it. Although I don't think it's worth that. There are much better rooms to farm for money. Like the first room of Transformed Oedo Castle, for instance. I feel like that's still the best one in the game. Considering that you get 120 Rio for every visit, I feel like that's a pretty good deal right there. And the fact that you can instantly warp to it with the Dragon Flute, it's a no-brainer. So if you're low on cash, go there. I believe these are shogi markers. Please correct me if I am mistaken. After all, this is sort of a game and toy themed castle. I'm good at platforming, I swear. Okay, that was nonsense. That was a bunch of bullhonkery. See, that grab right there, that should have happened the first time. But no! Bunch of honkers. We have a key and a... I said we have a key and a fortune doll. We have a switch right there. Wonder if anybody's ever gone over the fence without pressing the switch, because that means you have to go all the way back around again just to press the switch. Now we have a crane game. Let's play a bit of a UFO catcher. Now, usually I've done this on my first try, but my luck was not too good this time around, unfortunately. Yeah, screwing this up can lead to quite a bit of time lost. I genuinely feel bad for speedrunners because I feel like this could really kill a run. I've never watched a speedrun of this game, so I'm not sure if you're able to skip this. I hope so, because if not, then like I said, screwing this up can really ruin a run. Look at this. I swore I could have gotten it that time, but apparently not. Ugh. I'm so glad I edited around this, because just waiting for that claw to get back into position is just... And my nonsensical commentary has woken up both my cats, but one of them, yep, Cloud, looks like he's going back to sleep. Okay, by midnight, she is awake. And now we can have the camera. So yeah, this can reveal invisible objects, as well as reveal ghosts, making them vulnerable. Because the ones that we saw back in the entrance, yeah, those are immune to our attacks. But they won't be. Although, going back to take them out now, not really worth it. Anyways, I skipped all the way back to this room. Saved us about 2 minutes of walking. And very soon we're going to encounter one of my least favorite rooms in the entire game. But first we have to do a bit of ghost busting. By the way, I love how the moment we walked over to this area, the music just instantly was able to transition into the second part seamlessly. That's some damn good sound design. Like, that's another reason why I love this soundtrack, is because the way it's able just to seamlessly transition from one part of a song to the next. I'm pretty sure that's easier said than done. Like, being able to put it into, I'm not sure how you'd be able to program it where it's like, okay, as soon as you reach this area, we're just gonna somehow go to this part of the song over here, so where it starts, and it's, oh man, just the way it's so seamless. I feel like I'm just muttering gibberish at this point, and hoping that I'm somewhat making sense. I hate those spikes. But not as much as I hate an upcoming room. Not this room. We're almost there. I forget what those beanbag enemies are called. I have heard the name so many times. I should know it by heart. I've heard it so many times. But somehow, my brain keeps forgetting. Alright, this is the room that as a kid really fucked me up. When I first played this game as a kid and I got to this room, it was so difficult. However, if you stand at the left part of this ledge, you'll notice that it sort of extends a bit. Do that, boom, you'll make it to the next area, you know, to the spinning top. And this is where you can definitely tell where the graphics have aged, because you can see exactly where the pixels are. You can practically count the pixels. Just gotta make it over to the other side. I think at least one of them would drop a health pick up, you know, a dumpling, but they did not. Also, that spinning, not my choice. I pressed C right once, and the camera just decided to spin around. And yeah, this is why you don't want to fall into here. The game will just continuously drain energy from you. And there's not really any long-term invincibility frames to protect you. I think they'll give you at least 5 seconds of invincibility, but no. However, with that room over and done with, the rest of this castle will be a cakewalk by comparison for me. That's like the one room that I worry about during every single playthrough, but now that it's done, we're good, we're golden, we're ready to proceed. This area, while confusing at a first glance, isn't so bad. Just head forward and head in a counterclockwise motion. Yes, that's correct. Counterclockwise motion, and you'll make your way to the exit. See, it's rooms like these that confuse first-time players, but those who know the path, no problem. There's a few rooms like that in this game. I've noticed that this game loves throwing you into rooms where it's just a gauntlet. Just go in this room, kill all the enemies, get the key, and exit. Not the most innovative game design. Also, there's a fortune doll over to our left, but we'll be ignoring it for the sake of time. However, I will say this, for any first-time players, I would recommend getting as many fortune dolls as possible, because as you've seen, there are lots of things in this game, especially for first-time players, that will just instantly take you out. Or take you out quite quickly, at the very least. Like these jump ropes, for example. Those can damage you. This room, however, is a pretty nice little reprieve. It's a nice place to sort of just relax, get your bearings, get some money, get some health, and just breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Especially helpful for new players who get easily stressed by obstacles, which I'm not going to judge you on if you do. Because listen, we all have different thresholds, so if like you go through all those obstacles at your first time, especially for an old school 3D platformer like this, you're like, okay, I need to breathe, I need to just stop for 5 seconds. That's what that room is there for. Oh, I feel like that's unfair. I feel like those ghosts were behaving in a very unsportsmanlike manner. Yes, now we have the gold key because we like gold. Oh, that movie is over 20 years old. We've been waiting for a fourth Austin Powers movie for over 20 years. At this point, I think it's best just give it up. I don't think anyone wants to see another Austin Powers movie. Unless it's like Bill and Ted 3, where it's like, okay, we're gonna make a movie about passing it off to the next generation, because otherwise, I'm not sure what you want to do with that movie. Like, unless it's like a commentary on Austin Powers being old, much like Bill and Ted. Like, that's the only thing you can really do with the legacy property. You don't want to reboot it because, like, Austin Powers was 100% a product of its time. Like, it was made at the perfect moments of looking back at the, like, 60s and whatnot. Like, when you're doing a nostalgia film, you kind of want to look back 30 years. That's what you want to do if you're doing a nostalgia film. And now, that would be the mid-90s. Yes, the mid-90s was 30 years ago. Oh, man. So, yeah, if anything, Wayne's World would be the film to make. You know, it'd be probably about Wayne and Garth, you know, conflicting with their kids because, you know, the kids of their music is very different from, like, the music of, like, the 80s and 90s, which is the music that Wayne and Garth listened to. Because, you know, those movies came out in the early 90s. So the metal music you hear in that movie is very much a product of that time. If anything, it's still, even in Wayne's World 2, it's still very 80s coded, the metal music in that movie. So you'd have to make it like this modern brand of metal, seeing how Wayne and Garth sort of conflict with that. And interestingly enough, when you look at metal music now, it really is so different. Like, there are some bands that are a bit of a throwback, like Castle Rat and All For Metal. Like those bands are a bit of a throwback, but even then they're still like very different from bands of the 80s. And of course, when it comes to bands innovating, you know, you got Ice Nine Kills mixing metalcore with pop punk and Broadway. Then you got Motionless in White doing a bit of industrial, but also mixing a little bit of pop into that. And just the way Chris Motionless does his vocals and the way he layers his vocals are so damn good. Then of course you got Baby Metal, who invented quiet metal, you know, mixing Japan's idol pop with metal. You have all these other bands just mixing different things with heavy metal in ways that were never done before. Man. By the way, if you haven't listened to any of those bands I mentioned, you really should. Although I imagine you probably have because they're very popular. Alright, let's go fight our second boss. Much more exciting than the first because this one actually moves around and actually has more than just one real main attack that can hurt us. This is the Surrender Robot, Daru something or other. I didn't read that quick enough. First thing we need to do is use our camera to take a picture. Then every time he goes transparent, you get 1 to 2 attacks on him. Funnily enough, for so many years I thought you could only attack him once. But no, it turns out you can actually attack him twice if you're quick enough. Because of that, so many times when I fought him, the battle took twice as long. Ugh. Ugh. This is probably going to be the quickest boss fight of the game because of the fact we can hit him twice. For some reason I couldn't get him twice there, unfortunately. Should be at least halfway done with the battle at this point. While we're pretty sure we have seen all of the boss's attacks, at least there's a variety of them. Oh, we are more than halfway done. We're already done. That was super quickly. Compare that to the first boss. Not even close. I know some people like long boss fights. To them, if a boss fight goes under 10 minutes, they're super underwhelmed. But I'm not like that. Not at all. Oh look, it's Colin again. And now we finally get to meet one of our villains. And he has quite the charismatic intro. I wonder what the voice acting in this game would have sounded like, considering that this game was originally released in Japan in '97 and here in '98. I imagine the voice acting would have been super cheesy and over the top, much like the anime of its era. Yes, this is Danson, and he is quite the dork. And for some reason, he gives both Goemon and Ibisumaru Hispanic names, for reasons I am unaware of. Fernandez. Sí, él es no Goemon, él es Fernandez. I could go for some steak. Could you guys go for some steak? I could eat steak damn near every day of the week. Then again, I could say that for almost a lot of foods. Anyways, that is going to do it for us this time. See you all in the next video. Bye bye.